Okay, I want to talk about the different types of draws today. There's 5 different types of draws in chess. Now, before you say, I'm not interested in draws, it's not important. Well, let me just let you know that like the top chess players in the world, the grandmasters like Magnus Carlsen, they actually get more draws in their chess games than they actually win. So Magnus Carlsen himself, greatest chess player in the world, he has more draws in his chess games than he does wins. Um, so yeah, there's 5 different types of draws. So there's draw by agreement. So actually, in this situation you see here, it's basically impossible to make any progress. Nobody can make a mistake here. You can't move any pawns, and the kings cannot get through. So you could just offer a draw in this situation. That's all that can happen. There is no way to win. You're going to be sitting there for years moving the kings back and forth. And actually, if there is no captures of pieces, if nobody captures a piece and nobody uh, moves a pawn for 50 moves, that's another type of draw. So you have draw by agreement, you have draw by the 50 move rule. Again, if no pieces are captured and no pawns are pushed for 50 moves, that's the draw by the 50 move rule. Here, technically, somebody could make a mistake. So somebody could blunder their rook. Maybe they line them up, and we get some sort of skewer, and the other person could win with just a rook. You can do the box mate, as I've done videos on before about the box mate. But if no mistakes are made, as it says here, if no mistakes are made, what is the most likely result of the game? It should be a draw by agreement. Draw by agreement once again. Um, so in this position, it's white to play. What do we have here? Well, the rook is being defended by the king, and white can't actually move. So anytime the person whose move it is, if they have no legal moves, they can't move their king, and perhaps they can't move any of their pawns or whatever, their pawns are blocked. This would be a draw by stalemate. So again, this is a draw by stalemate, so it's a tie game. And I should have mentioned a draw is a tie game, so nobody wins. So in this position, because nobody can move, it is a draw by stalemate. So we have draw by agreement, we have a draw by the 50 move rule. Well, in this situation, nobody has enough power to accomplish a checkmate. You have to have at least a rook to checkmate. You cannot checkmate with a bishop. You can't checkmate with a knight. If all you have is a couple kings on the board, of course, this is a draw. And this would be a draw by insufficient material. You don't have enough material to get a checkmate. So this is a draw, again, by insufficient material. So yeah, the game's just over. You find yourself with just a bishop, your opponent has nothing. Find yourself with just a knight, your opponent has nothing. That is a draw by insufficient material. Now, if you have a pawn, of course, that's not the case. If there's any way you can get that pawn all the way across the board, you can get a queen, and that's more than enough power to checkmate. Okay, so yeah, in this situation, what do we have? It's not a stalemate, it's just a draw by insufficient material once again. Okay, here again, you can actually force another type of draw. So again, we've had draw by agreement. We'd have draw by the 50 move rule. So again, within 50 moves, if there's no pawn pushes, no pieces are captured for 50 moves, that's a draw by the 50 move rule. You have draw by insufficient material. But here, white is in really rough shape. They're down a rook, essentially. 3 pawns for a bishop is about the same. So they're actually down a rook. Checkmate is coming. Just queen captures f2 would be mate, or queen to f1 would be mate. So there's no way to defend against both these threats for white. But what they can do is force draw by threefold repetition. What you would do is just move your queen to g6, forcing the king to go to h8, and then you would go back to G6 with the queen, the king would have to go back to G8, and you just dance around. If the same exact position happens 3 times on the board, where all the pieces are in the exact same spot for 3 moves, it doesn't even have to be consecutive moves, just 3 times we had the exact same position in the game, it is a draw by the threefold repetition, and that's what we have here. White can force a draw by threefold repetition. As I said, you just move back and forth between G6 and H6, forcing the king to move back and forth between H8 and G8, and this will be a draw by threefold repetition. Okay, so hopefully we know the situation here. This is a draw by insufficient material. You cannot checkmate with a knight. You need at least a rook to checkmate. This is a draw by insufficient material. Neither side can checkmate here. Okay, well, so that is draws. So again, draws are a very important aspect of the game. You might be in a situation where there's a position that you would otherwise lose, and you might be able to force that threefold repetition. Or maybe your opponent doesn't even know about stalemate. You might be able to trick them into stalemating you. So yeah, a draw is better than a loss. So yeah, something to think about. So that is draws. 5 different types of draws. Once again, you have draw by agreement, you have draw by the 50-move rule, draw by the 50-move rule, draw by threefold repetition, draw by insufficient material, and draw by stalemate. Anyway, thank you for joining me for that. I hope you learned something there. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.